Yep. Cyberpunk 2077, starting to lose steam on that game.
Yeah.
It's just because all the side missions, I know I have to beat a lot of side missions in order to have options for the ending of the main quest, but a lot of them are starting to run together. Every side mission is go here, kill all these guys, loot this thing. And sometimes there's story around it, but it's not giving me life. And the worst part is every side mission in the map, the way that they're marked, they're indistinguishable from the ones where you just go do something and the ones where there's interesting. Like I had an interesting side mission where I found a talking gun named Skippy that talks to me while I fire it. And it's actually a pretty funny side mission. And there are some good ones out there, but it's marked just the same as the other ones. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Imagine in The Witcher, like all those question marks where they're just like caches and loot. But like all the interesting side quests in The Witcher were marked the same way. And you're like, well, this is boo.
Yeah.
But I'm still playing through it, and it's crashed on me 20 times so far. It crashed once or twice after the 17 gig update, but it just had another 16 gig update, and it hasn't crashed on me. So maybe they fixed the crashes?
Yeah, there was a bug that released. Not a bug that released, a patch that released.
I mean, they released a couple, but yeah, they just released one this past week for sure. And I threw some shade at reviewers last week about giving them 9 out of 10. You know, the game 9 out of 10 before it came out, and how that seemed inherently dishonest. But what I didn't mention was I was more throwing shade at the system of early reviews because of embargoes and NDAs.
Yeah.
You can't really trust early reviews from large outlets because publishers get to choose who review their games, and they get to choose what is reviewed. And a lot of NDA bullshit was sent out by Cyberpunk. You can't show your own footage. You have to show our footage, right? You play the PC version of the game. Don't show any footage from PlayStation 4 or Xbox. So a lot of reviewers didn't know how bad it was or couldn't submit any footage in order to get the review out. That's their livelihood, so they did what they were asked. So I'm against the system of... I feel like it should be for other media. I was listening to Laura Kate Dale talk this week. She's the host of Podquisition, which is another good gaming podcast if anybody's interested. But she has published a few books, and the way it works is her book goes to this like reviewer site where people are signed up to review, and they just request copies of whatever they want to review. And the site will then review them as a reviewer, go, okay, you're a legit reviewer. Here's a copy of the book. Have at it, right?
Right.
She didn't get to pick who reviewed her book, which I think is a really good separation and a non-biased way to get reviews on your content.
Right.
I think the whole system with gaming reviews is corrupt and ridiculous. All the retreats, all the presents, all of like the shady things that go on, you know what I mean, to gather influence really affects these reviews.
Yeah.
And I think that Cyberpunk has showed that more than anything. So I'm really upset at CD Projekt Red as a publisher, and I feel bad for the people that work for them as developers because they did put a lot of heart and soul to this game, and there's a lot of artistry and a lot of stuff that a lot of potential, and I could see if they weren't forced to work on these broken last-gen systems and they just put it out for PS5 and, you know, Xbox Series X and PC, I feel like this game would have not only not had near as many bugs or crashes, it would have been a lot better overall.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't think people would have been mad, but it's just that install base for the base PS4 and Xbox.
It was greed. It was publisher greed. And unfortunately, that was paired with a lot of intentional deception.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So people who are mad at them as a publisher, I totally get it. They're going to be fine. They own GOG. They're like $1 billion company. Like they're going to be okay. But I hope that they and other companies learn a lesson from this. Quit your bullshit because people aren't going to take it anymore. And the fact that I'm amazed at the blowback, and you had some news about the blowback too, but just like PlayStation, Xbox, you know, accepting returns, PlayStation removing it from their store, retail stores, after you've opened the game, like Best Buy, who is Best Boy, taking copies back. You know what I mean? That's unheard of. That is wild. But yeah, no, you had some news in regards to happen this week for Cyberpunk.
Yeah, the blowback is so hard that investors are actually suing CD Projekt Red.
Woo!
Yeah, they're saying that they allegedly misrepresented the game's performance. And they basically came out and were showing them that there were just a few bugs that, you know, players wouldn't notice, but in fact, the game was virtually unplayable on PS4 and the base Xbox. So, yeah, they're going to fight it, obviously, but it's not looking good, man. This is probably one of the greatest console game botch launches of all time.
Recent memory, for sure.
Yeah.